And I'm back. Sorry about that. I'll try edit that out again. But we'll carry on with the turn. Let's go through the unrestful provinces. Not too unrestful there. 36 in the capital. I'll have these wizards go back to research. And 23 in Brightgate, they can go back to research. But we can carry on as per normal in Mexico. Syria has no unrest either, so they can carry on blood hunting or go back to blood hunting. I wouldn't mind bulking out this patrol, actually. I will invest in 20 more militia. I mean, militia are very cheap, they're only 70 gold for 10 of them. Now, most of the force has begun to properly move in earnest towards Golem range. And our supply usage is actually nothing, so yeah, that's good. I'm going to have most of them set to doing research until I can properly equip them with magic items that I'm going to need. And I am going to set my men to... no, I will set them to wait. Although I'm going to have this small goblin chieftain to just carry on fortifying, build some towers. We are gaining more gold, and the administration value is going to be useful. Now, there's a bunch of wizards. Oh, yes, the priest here. Now, where do I need this priest to go? I wanted to train Paramount Sun Pontifexes in a number of areas. Lilithor might not be a bad spot. I'm also going to want to start putting temples on this western sea. And also, I might need some more in the north as well. I think once we take this throne, our dominion will start to spread quite rapidly, so it won't be an issue. But we shall have to see. I think for now I will move him to Lilithor to perhaps build a temple there. I have a new scout, who I think I will be moving to replace the scout I lost over here. Let's get another scout training and a bunch of sacreds, but I'm only going to recruit 9. I want to recruit another Paramount Sun Pontifex. We have a few of them now, or we should do. It might not be till next turn. I could be mistaken. So let us just quickly go over all my commanders. We've got quite a few commands to give this turn. Quite a few indeed. And these men can also move to Golem range, where we will probably start amassing quite a few goblins. This army can progress, and my blood mage here, who was going to build the lab, is now going to just patrol. And we're going to take Anfar with us as well. The entire force is going to go. I don't think we should have any troubles. It appears as if Modi is winning the war, and yes, we can actually move into the chambers underneath and we should be fine. If Modi decides to move their army down here, we will have to fight them, but it won't cause a war. Bumping into another nation's army, if you both advance into the same place, if you're not at war when that happens, no war is declared. It's sort of just an unfortunate circumstance. However, it's not always unintentional. Keep that in mind. If someone accidentally bumps into you with their Earth Snake in an online game, they might actually have planned to bump into you with an Earth Snake and kill all your men. So yeah, just keep that in mind. In this case, I don't mind if we bump into them. I don't mind killing one of Modi's armies. It's not very powerful, so they don't have very many men. We will try to take the chambers underneath and then sweep our way through and conquer the rest of the underground. We will try and do that. Now, I think the most interesting thing about this... Okay, let's keep going. We've got more interesting things in the messages first. Killed a bunch of brigands, to be expected. Although, to not be expected is these events. A handful of gems have been found in a hot valley. Possible fire gems. Not bad. And an unexpected event in Swinland. Ancient treasure has been unearthed. 259 gold. I'll never turn down free gold. So, both good events. there were 2 battles which our scouts did manage to see. Now the most interesting one is Kunal, probably, but we shall see. We're going to watch the battle in dry fields. This does look like province defense. Maybe a small force. Plane follower. I believe these are, yeah, they are sacred. Heavy sling. 11 damage sling with range 30. Maybe it's a giant's, like a giant's sling. They wear very good helmets, but very weak body armor, which actually leads to them having very low encumbrance still. So yeah, that's one thing to consider. And an exceptional axe, which is it's an alright weapon. Their defense skill is quite low. If we can see them get blessed, that might be interesting. There is a priest here, so he might end up blessing this commander. Now it's interesting to note the giants are taking javelins into combat, so giants with javelins is never a good thing. Those javelins really hurt, and they can throw them a surprising distance. But Modi is also fielding flying units, and they just fly in and kill the commanders of Emozar, and then they fly in and kill the priest, by the looks of it. Yes, the priest fails to retaliate and is eaten by foul spawn. And so Emozar's army will run away because they have no commanders. They have no commanders. So that's something I'm going to have to keep in mind. If I fight Modi, they do field quite a lot of flying units, so I need to keep my commanders well protected or well equipped. If my commanders are equipped well enough, they can just kill any flying units that come in to try and assassinate them. So there is that option as well. Kunal was probably the most interesting battle, given that I believe there's quite large forces involved. Yes, in fact, oh okay, well Modi didn't have a large force, but Emozar has quite a substantial army. I do think this might be close to 100 giants, including their god. The god is wielding the black bow of Batulf. This is a very annoying bow. Anyone that gets hit by its arrow is feeble-minded, so even if you survive a shot from it, you lose all of your magical skills. So if it hits a wizard, or even my god, that could be very, very bad. Very, very bad. The Cat's Eye Amulet, that's an interesting choice to put on your god. I mean, it does give him stealth, but he's not very stealthy, I imagine, being a giant solar disc. And Dark Vision, which I suppose Dark Vision is useful. Plus 2 magic resistance. No, magic resistance is always nice. He has 7 fire magic, which is probably his most noticeable trait, is his huge fire magic level. I'll speed this battle up since it is against what seems to be province defense or a very small force. I'm very surprised the Solar Disc decides to dive into combat straight away and start punching things. He even took a hit, so he's being used very aggressively, and I think my dragon could fight him and kill him very easily. I believe my dragon's much more powerful than a Solar Disc in a hand-to-hand fight. Right. So that was all of the messages. Let's sort out the final thing that we need to do this turn, which is gathering all of these level 1 mages. 11, 12, 34, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 27 mages. And they are going to be taking Perseus with them. Now, the reason I'm taking Perseus is because he will offer a very small barrier for the enemies to focus on prior to the Sabbath going crazy. With the amount of horrors that will be spawning. So yes, we shall try to do that. Let's set this up, shall we? Let's set up this monstrous Sabbath. Now, everyone's going to be casting all sorts of spells, so I will want to have one round of Hell Power followed by a Reinvigoration on my main Sabbath Master, followed by lots of Hell Power, and everyone else can be set to, so these are going to be Sabbath Masters, but I want them set to cast Hell Power. Just lots and lots of Hell Power. Let's just bring all of the Hell Power. All of the Hell Power. And let's set that. Yes, we will have 5 people casting Hell Powers. The Reinvigoration is really because if the slaves die, then I haven't achieved anything. If they get horror marked and they die, they stop summoning in horrors. So I can't let them die of fatigue, so I do need to cast Reinvigoration, at least after casting these many Hell Powers. I might even kill a few of the slaves preemptively, I hope I don't, but we do have quite a lot of Sabbath slaves, so I don't think this will kill any of them. So yes, every casting of Sabbath Slave cost 1 slave, every casting of Sabbath Master cost 1 slave, and every casting of Hell Power costs 3, and Reinvigoration costs 1. Yeah, it costs 1. So I am going to need to give them about 50 slaves to do this properly. So, well, I suppose let's do that. Let's give them a huge number of slaves. We have 300 slaves though, so in fact, I'll give them 60 slaves, and that should be fine. They may not even get a chance to use all the slaves before they're killed by horrors. But actually, the slaves do act as a buffer against the horrors. So yes, I may also just give them some more because I don't care. Let's go crazy. Let's see what happens. I think this should be fine. I can't be bothered to move all the mages to the, can I? I suppose I can. Alright, let's move them back. I suppose I can. And I will... I'll spread them out a little bit. Just so it's a bit more obvious to everyone what's going on when the actual battle plays out. So let's just clump the slaves up behind them. And just clump you up. Clump you all up into a big pygmy blob of... Oh, they do actually need to be quite close to the ones with slaves. So we'll actually spread the 3 masters with slaves out over the top there. And everyone else. I mean, there's going to be so many slaves, it's going to be hard to position all of them anyway in the right spots. We'll just kind of dot them around and see what happens. See what happens. Funny stuff will happen. I'm going to put some Sabbath slaves in front of the masters as well, so hopefully they draw the horror's attention and not the masters. Although the horrors will be drawn to everyone. To destroy them in the name of some very strange astral creature or whatever. I don't know why the horrors are in the Dominions universe, but they exist, and they exist to ruin your day, and ruin some days they shall. They shall ruin many days for this Great Mother and her Vine Man army. Hopefully it gets Hell Power bombed straight into oblivion. That's what we can hope for. And given that I highly doubt that this commander will survive, in fact, actually, I can just set him to retreat. And the reason why is because I'm going to set these to hold an attack closest. They may keep the wizards alive for a bit longer. But the reason why he's retreating is because I have commanders still in the battlefield, so these cavalry will stay as well. But there's no point losing this commander. I mean, he's literally just ferrying some bodies in, just to get in the way of the horrors for a bit longer. And I'm willing to spend a few heavy cavalry to do that. Now, with the final bits of my gold, I am going to just start amassing more units in golem range here. We're going to get another, I think, 15. Oh, I can get 14. Let's see what my regiments need, because we might need something else. This force is just a bit, It's more swordsmen, actually. I'm going to just bulk recruit a bunch of swordsmen just to fill this line out here. These are sort of my back line that filters in behind the spearmen, just to, you know, really bring the damage with the broadswords and the battle axes. Start just chopping through all the tired units once battle is engaged. Right, let's get to the fun stuff, shall we? Let's get to the fun stuff. I believe everything, I'm just going to check one last time, everything is scripted properly. Oh yes, I believe this is going to be fine. It should be just fine. Let's end the turn. Now, I don't want the video to run on too long, so yes, as you can see, 107 turn battle just occurred, and I think you all know which battle that may have been. So we're not going to waste any time. I might make it into a separate video and just have it run at normal speed. Maybe. It'd be nice, it'd be interesting to see how long the battle lasts, actually. I mean, in terms of actual playing time. So we captured a bunch of blood slaves, and killed a bunch of brigands. Scouts are being discovered left, right and centre during this war as huge armies march around. We got some unexpected events as well. Heavy rains have destroyed the roads, hampering trade in Mile Deep. Heavy rains underground, so I suppose the water must have leaked through the earth. Anyway, yeah, we lost some taxes, but I think it's a cave province, so it doesn't really matter if it loses tax. Crystallized urine from a magical beast has been found in the melting snow. 4 nature gems. I'll always take nature gems wherever they come from, I suppose. That will do. I don't think we didn't find any magic sites, did we? We did not. Found some devils. Captured a bunch of blood slaves. Let's take a look at the blood slaves. Syria, no unrest. Mexico, no unrest. So they can carry on. In fact, Islatos can do some patrolling unless he can grab some men. No, I think Islatos can just do some patrolling as well. And let's see, Saltnaham. We are getting some unrest, but I think it's going to start going away. Okay. Ah yes, all of my mages showed up with all their imps, and so did this army. I'm going to have them set to wait, and I think I'll have all these mages set to research. Right, okay. We noticed a battle in Mir, but it was between, I think this is Lycia? Yeah, Lycia. Lycia is attacking Emilzar and Mir. Now, I wasn't expecting this. Lycia is the Lizard Man nation to the north of Emilzar. So I think Emilzar is just being dogpiled right now. So yes, we should not have any repercussions for taking the underground, because Emilzar should be rightly destroyed fairly soon by being attacked on 3 sides. They are putting up a decent fight though, like they're holding these lizard men off for quite some time. And these are just province defense light infantry, so I'm very surprised they actually lasted that long. The clockwork soldiers have fatigued themselves out, so they're not actually fighting back now, they're just being destroyed. Yeah, just being slowly destroyed. And Emilzar's army routes. It does look more like a province defense force. No, there was some actual commanders in there. And Lycia actually ended up losing their Axe Master, which is quite funny. So either way, yes, Lycia is now at war with Emilzar as well. We'll take a look at the battle in the chambers underneath. I am going through this turn quite quickly. If you guys would rather I take it slower, well, I think right now you'd rather I go quickly so you get to see this mad combat that we have prepared. We have prepared for your viewing entertainment. And hopefully it is rather entertaining. We shall see. We shall see. Right now, there was a battle in Troia. We attacked the Throne of Ascension using a Hellpower Bomb. As you can see, all of my little pygmy wizards standing here. Now, Irma casts Iron Skin on herself. She has a huge number of Earth Gems. Please do not cast Weapons of Sharpness. If you cast Weapons of Sharpness, I will hate you. But as you can see, the Vine Men have no magic weapons. The Earth Gnomes have no magic weapons. The Vine Ogres have no magic weapons. Well, the Heavy Cavalry don't. No one's got magic weapons. So as long as they don't suddenly get magic weapons, the horrors should do a fine job. So, let's speed this up a little bit, and our commander here should just rout immediately. Yes, so we casted many Savage Slave spells, and we've caused a great amount of fatigue in the entire communion. So they're starting to cast Hell Power and kill off all the slaves, which has increased the fatigue on some of my my Sun Pontifexes by a fair amount, but they are being horror marked now. And as you can see, putting the Heavy Cavalry here was very useful. As you can see, horrors have begun to appear. Oh no, don't kill all the wizards, we need more horrors to appear. Quickly, sacrifice more slaves, bring more horrors to the battlefield. Oh, they've all fatigued out. I think, no, some of them have actually managed to break their fatigue. But, yeah, they're all being killed by horrors, as you can see. So, yes, I'm going to speed it up. As you can see, there's quite a lot of horrors now. And the horrors have just now, they're now just, yes, the horrors are just running around the battlefield. Just killing whatever they want, I suppose. Yes, they just float around the battlefield, just killing things. So, I'm going to just put it on speed 2 and just leave it here and just watch the horrors just do their thing. They are pretty impossible for the enemies to hit, and they also life drain. So they're really hard to kill. They're really hard to kill. And this really big horror over here, this one over here is the scariest one. This is a genuine horror. These are lesser horrors, but this is a Big Daddy horror. 2 life drain attacks and 2 astral claws, which horror mark you. So if this horror hits this Great Mother with their horror mark claw, more horrors may appear. So the horrors propagate more horrors. Yes, it's a never-ending cycle of horrors, and they have a decent morale value, so I don't think it's actually ever going to retreat. It's just going to sit there and cause havoc. In fact, all the cavalry have decided to. All the militia and cavalry are routing, because horrors also have a very high fear aura. In fact, this giant horror should have a crazy high fear aura. Yeah, he's got fear of 15. So as you can see, for sacrificing about 20 wizards, we have managed to kill most of this throne's defenses. The Hellpower Bomb did its job. And again, this can be made as powerful as you want. You just need to put more wizards in it. And the more bodyguards you give your wizards, if you put like a big circle of bodyguards around them, they can last quite a long time, and you can cast Hellpower an insane number of times. But obviously that becomes super expensive. Right now though, it's going great. As you can see, it's going just fine. I don't think the horrors get fatigue either. No, they don't. So yes. Whereas I think the Earth Gnomes are... No, the Earth Gnomes and the Vine Men don't fatigue out either. So it's just a very slow battle between the horrors eating all of the Earth Gnomes. I think the Earth Gnomes regenerate as well, so... Yeah, it does take the horrors quite a while to kill them. Yes, and the Great Mother, who does have 20% regeneration, is being rapidly horror marked by these horrors. So even if she does regenerate her health, she will eventually be horror marked so many times she will start spawning horrors into this battlefield herself, which which is rather funny. She might have even spawned that one. There is no way to escape the horrors. They will keep coming. And if she doesn't die in this battle, she could die to a horror attacking her on the world map. Which can happen, even to neutral NPCs. And this larger horror is just able to carry on fighting forever by the looks of it. And it just keeps on fighting. I mean, it can kill the Vine Ogres without that much problem, so yeah, it's just teleporting around, just draining its health back, and so the lesser horrors did eventually get defeated. Oh, there's an Ivy King here as well. I didn't realise there's an Ivy King as well. I don't think he'll do very well, or he won't do much better compared. Oh, I wonder what happened there. Ah, he got entangled. He's getting entangled. See, magical attacks are effective against horrors, but non-magical attacks, they very rarely hit them. And even if you do manage to hit a horror, you probably won't kill it. They have very high, as you can see, horrors. I have opened their stats up quite a few times, but their protection, their magic resistance, all of their stats are very, very high. And all of their attacks are magical, so I haven't counted how many times that this god has been horror marked, but quite a few times indeed. In fact, she's routing, so the Great Mother is running away along with the rest of the army. So yes, although my army was destroyed, and so was the Independence. So the chambers underneath, no, not the chambers underneath, Troia, everyone died. The only person that survived was one heavy cavalry and a mounted commander. That was it. But we killed 382 men. So the throne is now free to capture. There are no enemy units in Troia. So I need to send my prophet over there, oh my god. And currently they are busy. So what we're going to do is, Solve is going to move back to capture the throne, and the rest of my army is going to carry on moving through the Tunnel of the Lost and such. So I think I'm just going to death blob them around, since Emazar doesn't actually have enough men to stop me. So yes, I'm just going to death blob them around. The chambers underneath, I am going to boost its province defense quite a lot, because the chambers underneath is the it's got a population of 360, so I can get 36 population here. So yes, I want the province defense to be as high as possible to discourage Modi from attacking me, whilst I just solidify my control over that zone. Since I don't have the gold to build a castle here, she's just going to preach, and the rest of the turn, I can build a temple here though, and then I can start training Paramount Son Pontifexes there. I finished building towers in this province. So I can just fill up that unit with a few more men, set them to wait. I have a new scout who's going to cross the mountain. Yes, here's Perseus. Perseus, the mighty mounted commander, and his one surviving cavalryman, who's weakened. So he's actually, I mean, he's still useful. So we're going to go and capture Troia. We're going to do that. And I think Perseus is just going to go back to Duvan and carry on doing patrolling. Like nothing happened. It's as if nothing happened. There's just no units there anymore. Ooh, Lunawasia is really pushing hard in this war. They're doing quite well, which I'm not sure if I'm happy about. Firewall seems to be being destroyed on all sides, and my information of northern Valanis is actually quite limiting. So yes, I'm going to definitely need to get a lot more scouts in the north, just to keep an eye on all of these wars. I don't want to not know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, something unexpected like a large... Say this nation here, I had no scouts around here, and this nation just conquered everybody. They just conquered everyone. And I needed one more ascension point. And it turns out the other nation I have to fight for that one ascension point owns the other northern half of Valanis. That would be terrible. That would be awful. So yes, having scouts allows me to act against such happenings. Now, I was going to use this Paramount Sun Pontifex to cart those devils over to my army. However, he has Earth 2 magic already. So we're going to give him some Earth Boots. And he is going to forge some Dwarven Hammers. That is what he is going to do. He will forge me a Dwarven Hammer. Although, he can also cast Clockwork Smith. Now this costs the same, but it says that they're very efficient at creating magic items. So if I created one of these Clockwork Smiths and then he made me a hammer, it would actually be cheaper. So I'm going to do that. If he can make hammers, I don't know what magic paths they have. So I think we're going to risk it. We are going to cast Clockwork Smith and see how good they are. Really. I also managed to get a Blood 3 Paramount Pontifex, so he is going to be moving straight to Golem range as soon as I can. Really. He can perhaps transport this heavy cavalryman. Maybe pick up a few more men in Saltnaham as well. Train a few more sacreds with the spare gold that I have. Where did I train a Paramount Pontifex here? I did not. Did I train? I think I just trained one in Mexico, which is this one. And I think I also just trained the one in Nom. The one in Nom is actually perfect because he got the Earth magic, and all the gnomes here have Earth magic. So I think Nom can just become a place where I produce magic items for now. I just produce all my magic items there. I need to find an outlook for these water gems. Now, once I have construction 6, which will be, I could try and get that for next turn. I'll have to halt blood hunting somewhere. Let's find a province which has a bit of unrest. Syria, no unrest. Now, Pernia has 15 unrest, but I don't think one wizard's enough. No, one wizard won't be enough. My capital, let's see. It's quite annoying. I have one wizard, effectively, that I could start blood hunting with. Well, to try and boost my research, I'm going to get these guys to research instead of blood hunt for this turn only, because we want construction 6. We really want construction 6. So we are going to go for that. And that will conclude spring, I think. I believe I've covered everything. Yes, so you got to see the Hellpower Bomb. If people want to see that in a separate video, more like a slow motion, I may end up, or not a slow motion, but on normal speed. I will perhaps post up a separate video of it if people request it. But otherwise, yes. That was a Hellpower Bomb. The ability to spawn nigh unkillable horrors that will just destroy your opponent's army if they do not have magic weapons. Yes. So it can be quite costly. As you saw, I lost 27 wizards doing it, but it worked. It killed 300 and odd thrown defenders. 382 thrown defenders it killed, including a Great Mother with very high earth magic and an Ivy King. So not bad. Not bad at all. It also didn't cost me many cushion units. It didn't cost me those many heavy cavalry, really. So yes. Success. Success. Feels good. Now, yep, that was the end of the turn. So I'm gonna, once Solve reaches the Throne of the Sun, we can capture that. I think that's the Throne of the Sun. I should actually take a look at the province just to make sure. So I will quickly just go into this turn to take a look. It is indeed the Throne of the Sun, as expected. Something I also forgot to mention when I was originally going over this throne is that my goblins will get even more fire resistance. So yeah, my sacred goblins are actually going to be reliably fire resistant. They will have 10 fire resistance when they are blessed. So yes, these goblins are actually becoming more and more and more useful. They are now fairly protected against friendly fire from my fire magic evocations. And I believe spells like Hellfire, which are only 9 fire damage and 1 for each extra level of the caster, extra level of blood magic the caster is. Yes, this won't actually do any, if very much, damage to my sacred goblins. So we can quite carelessly cast Hellfire into my sacred ranks and it won't matter. So yes, good stuff. Excellent stuff. But I will leave it on the message screen here. It is early summer in year 5 of the Ascension Wars. It's been me, Chaff Commander Coffee. Next episode, I may go back to doing them in turns, simply because there are quite a lot of battles going on. Not that we're in the battles, but viewing battles is important, and that does take some time. So the next episodes will probably be going in singular turns, whilst we prepare for our next invasion. Just thought I would point that out. So yes, the last seasonal episode for the time being. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.